Redditors who have hired a private investigator, what did you discover? About 6-7 years ago I made a solid attempt to try to find my father. Have never met him, but my son had just been born and I decided it was time. After many failures, I went to RRBI to ask them and was contacted by a private investigator out of the Northwest. He told me he would help me find the info I was looking for pro bono, on the one condition I don't give out his Reddit username. I said deal, and the next day I had an email with 5 potential names, addresses, phone numbers, etc. The second one down on the list was my father. I contacted him, it went terrible, and it really wasn't worth it. But I'll never forget that Redditor's kindness in helping me accomplish a 30-year goal. If you see this, thanks again buddy. Edit, you guys have all been so awesome and supportive. The real props goes to the Reddit pie who volunteered his time to a random person who he has never met. You sure are a fine human specimen, and if you read this, I do want you to know I paid it forward after what you did. Not me, but my mom's ex-husband, had one hired against him in 2006. He had gotten injured at work, worked construction and wound up with a broken back which didn't heal correctly, causing him to sue the company and also need to be put on disability. The company he'd worked for didn't believe it was as bad as he had claimed, so they wanted to find out if he was lying. All in all they dug up nothing. Years later, 2015, my and him were proceeding with a divorce since he began abusing pain meds, alcohol, and other illegal substances. When I was helping my mom clean out the house to sell it, we came across a notebook with his plan in it. He had been injured on the job and it really wasn't as bad as he had said. He had paid someone to make it worse so he could sue and get a big payoff, but didn't plan on it not healing correctly. I had always kind of suspected, especially since he would sometimes use his injury to his advantage of why he could/couldn't do things so someone else could/couldn't do them. Had one used against me, thanks current father-in-law. He found out that I was seriously a desperately boring person. Aside from my boring work and education history, he learned of 2 of my exes and the fact that they were pretty boring too, though one sadly struggled with an eating disorder. I don't think he knew what, Yak played World of Warcraft with his last ex. A lot meant, but yeah. He learned I was adopted and had grown up with a very nice pair of parents, non-bio. Obviously. You know, until this second, I assumed he had wasted his money, and ended up with literally no interesting info. I'm kinda curious if the guy found out about my bio parents. And wonder if that colored his view of me. Lawyers of Reddit, what was your sorry but you fucked up moment? My dad with his ex-wife and her boyfriend. The 2 accused my dad of breaking into their house, assaulting them, and running away. Now why did I capitalize running? Well, the couple went on to give their statements and it was pretty well thought out, but they kept mentioning they noticed someone walking around their house, breaking in, attacking them and then running off. So the judge asked for my dad's statement. My dad was in a wheelchair because his right leg was fractured and had to have surgery on it. He couldn't walk, much less run. The judge was amused but was not happy with the couple. The case ended with them paying for all the costs. TL, Dr. Vengeful X lied about almost everything trying to get a harassment restraining order, but apparently didn't realize that admitting I leave her alone killed her case. Not a lawyer, but my ex tried to file a harassment restraining order as an act of vengeance. /1. 2 years after we dated. /2. During which I spent a year out of state. /3. She tried to mix half-truths by using real dates and text messages out of context, but I had all the old texts too, and dated documentation of those dates, meaning. /3a. I have a record of her admitting to stalking my whereabouts the day she claims I sexually assaulted her. /3b. Plus the sexts and nude photos she sent unsolicited the rest of that week after. /3c. She also spent a whole page of allegations saying I was a crazy ex who was obsessed with the false belief that she cheated on me. A. As if the judge would give a shit about whether she cheated, and B. She confessed to cheating via text. /4. Her submitted allegations literally stated that we had no contact with each other, even when I had the opportunity to do so. /4a. Except I actually had messaged her once, about 3 months after I moved out of state, to confront her about stalking me. /5. She also tried to change the story of the night she assaulted me after closing out a bar together to make it sound like she left early, offended, and I followed after to assault her. But she was apparently worried the judge would think she dined and dashed, so she shoehorned in this parenthetical, "tab paid," which the judge found as funny as I did. /6. The judge also caught the fact that she didn't realize I'd been back in town for 3 months until she saw me at a show, 1 month before she filed, where she noted that I saw her too, but did not approach her. /7. Icing on the cake, after spending about 45 minutes describing me as a deranged monster, +1 brag about her sexual prowess. When the judge asked, per the law, what risk I was to her safety, security, and privacy, she forgot to lie, instead saying nobody should be able to say that about her tattoos. /7a. That's right, she literally took me to court as punishment for making fun of her tattoos on Reddit. /7b. Her Reddit account at the time proudly displayed her tattoos for attention in an askreddit tattoo horror story thread, literally answering a commenter who suggested how to play off the tattoo with too much effort to live a lie. Even the judge told her she had no case. She dismissed the restraining order on the last day before the evidentiary hearing. Kids, even if your restraining order is temporarily granted ex parte, do not assume the judge you get in drama court got that job by being born yesterday. Also, the way to take vengeance on your ex for the false notion that they violated your privacy is not to force them to enter your nudes and fetishes into the public record. Except when she sent those unsolicited nudes, she actually prefaced that they were an apology for being shit in bed. I felt bad for the guy because he was clearly in a financial bind, but he got caught buying an insurance policy right after he caused an accident. So the guy pays his electric bill, gets in the car and drives to the store. On the way, he caused an accident. Later he said he had bought the policy right before he left for the store, but we were suspicious. I got the bank records, the police records, the cell phone records, and we already had the insurance records. All the records had times of when things happened, so when I put them all together, everything fit together perfectly. It was like this. 10:02, police notified of accident. 10:04, bank receives phone call requesting stop payment on check to electric company. 10:05, call made to insurance company. 10:15, electronic payment to insurance company authorized. 10:16, bank shows payment to insurance company. 10:19, police arrive on scene. The cell phone records matched up perfectly with everything, and we were able to prove that he had in fact bought the policy after the accident, so there was no coverage. What made me really feel bad for the guy was an entry for a 30-minute call in the cell phone records about an hour after the police arrived at the scene. I didn't recognize the number, so I looked it up and realized that was the honey. Now don't be mad, but call. Poor bastard. Not the US. This guy cracked someone's skull with a hammer after the victim looked him in the eye while entering a bus. Suspect claimed self-defense, because 2 weeks before that, they had fought each other. Victim is in a coma. Suspect will remain in custody till, at least, the trial in our jurisdiction for these type of crimes. At a pre-trial hearing, the judge tells him to pray that the victim lives. A couple of weeks later, I get the good news that the victim is out of the hospital. Next pre-trial hearing, the suspect cusses out the judge for not releasing him, even though the judge had promised that before. Suspect referred to the praying about the victim living remark. Because, in his words, if the victim is out of the hospital, why should he remain in jail? Note that these statements all go into his trial file. I had to let him go because we didn't agree on the strategy. He was offended at my suggestions for a strategy and he truly felt that he was allowed to hit someone in the head with a hammer and claim self-defense without even mentioning any immediate threat, because of something that happened 2 weeks prior. In the end, he got 4 years and extradition. Seemed lucky to me.